am a cloud. We haven't seen I am a cloud for a while. I am a cloud. I am the blue sky. I am a bird spreading out its wings. I am a flower. I am the sunshine. I am the earth receiving a seed. And I am free when my heart is open. Yes, I am free when my mind is clear. Oh dear brothers, oh dear sisters, let's walk together mindfully. And I am free when my heart is open. Yes, I am free when my mind is clear. Oh dear siblings, oh dear siblings, let's walk together joyfully. We haven't seen number 27, the river, right? The river is flowing, flowing and growing, huh? The river is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. Mother Earth, carry me, your child I will always be. Mother Earth, carry me back to the sea. The moon, she is waiting, waxing and waning. The moon, she is waiting for us to be free. Sister Moon, watch over me, your child I will always be. Sister Moon, watch over me until we are free. One more time. The moon is flowing, flowing and growing. The river is flowing back to the sea. Mother Earth, carry me, your child I will always be. Mother Earth, carry me back to the sea. The moon, she is waiting, waxing and waning. The moon, she is waiting for us to be free. Sister Moon, watch over me, your child I will always be. Sister Moon, watch over me until we are free. Okay, let me see. Để có bài nào mình chưa hát nữa.
Đông đóng là bài số 20 nhá.
Cho con mượn cái
Order bài số 20 chục triệu đông đóng á.
20.
Dạ.
Chập hội 20 phải không?
Dạ.
20 là bên đây. À đúng rồi. I have that. I did. Wake up mà. Okay. A jewel in the lotus, 19. Okay. Hum ni ba ni hum ma ni hum ma. To be a jewel in a lotus flower, unfolding is the highest art. Om Mani Mani Padme Hum. 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 Be a jewel in a lotus flower, unfolding deep within my heart. To be a jewel in a lotus flower, unfolding is the highest art. Om Mani Mani Padme Hum. 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 Okay, number 22. The mind is a clear blue sky. This song. And it's go like this. The mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Storm comes, storm goes, but the mind is a clear blue sky. Yeah. Okay, and we, number 22, clouds, feeling, thoughts, problem, and storms. The mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Cloud come, cloud go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Feelings come, feelings go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Thoughts come, thoughts go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Problems come, problems go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. The mind is a clear blue sky. Storms come, storms go, but the mind is a clear blue sky. Simple song, come, go, it's be okay. And now, maybe sing in gratitude, 25. In gratitude, you have watered seeds of love in me. In gratitude, in gratitude, I will water seeds of love in someone too. of love in me in gratitude. In gratitude, I will water seeds of love in someone too. Thank you. Let us sing some. It's a wake-up song, but different, a short version. Number 20. Whenever I wake up. It's a fun tune. It goes like this. Whenever I wake up, I feel happy, aware of my eyes. I feel happy, aware of my health. I feel happy because I have learned to look deeply. Whenever I walk, I feel happy. Whenever I sit, I feel happy. Whenever I rest, I feel happy because I have learned to look deeply. Can we do this? Yeah, we do that. So we remember to do this. I like a flower. Whenever I wake up, I feel happy, aware of my eyes. I feel happy, aware of my health. I feel happy because I have learned to look deeply. Whenever I walk, I feel happy. Whenever I sit, I feel happy. Whenever I rest, I feel happy because I have learned to look deeply. One more time. Whenever I wake up, I feel happy, aware of my eyes. I feel happy, aware of my health. I feel happy because I have learned to look deeply. Whenever I was, I feel happy. Whenever I sit, I feel happy. Whenever I rest, I feel happy because I have learned to look deeply. Thank you, dear friends. And now we invite the brother and sister to come up here for the chanting before the talk. So that's the message. Whenever you wake up, remember the wake up, retreat, touch joy and happiness. contemplations before chanting. The Sangha is invited to come back to our breathing so that our collective energy of mindfulness will bring us back together as an organism, going as a river with no more separation. Let the whole Sangha breathe as one body, chant as one body, listen as one body, and transcend the boundaries of a delusive self, liberating from the superiority complex, the inferiority complex, and the equality complex. I take refuge in the Buddha,
the one who shows me the way in this life. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and of love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Dwelling in the refuge of Buddha, I clearly see the path of light and beauty in the world. Dwelling in the refuge of Dharma, I learn to open many doors on the path of transformation. Dwelling in the refuge of Sangha, shining light that supports me, keeping my practice free of obstruction. Taking refuge in the Buddha in myself, I aspire to help all people recognize their own awakened nature, realizing the might of love. Taking refuge in the Dharma in myself, I aspire to help all people fully master the ways of practice and walk together on the path of liberation. Taking refuge in the Sangha in myself, I aspire to help all people build fulfilled communities, to embrace all beings and support their transformation.
con về nương tựa Bụt.
Người đưa đường chỉ lối cho con trong cuộc đời. Nam mô Buddhaya. Con về nương tựa Pháp, con đường của tình thương và
So good morning, dear Thầy, dear Sangha. Let us enjoy listening to 3 sounds of the bell, bringing our mind back to our body, smile, and be aware that we are still together on the last day of the wake-up retreat. So, dear community, today is June 16th, 2024, and we are in the Great Togetherness Meditation Hall at Blue Cliff in the Wake Up Retreat. Today is Father's Day. I like to recap the practices that we learned throughout this retreat. And hopefully that you will be able to take some, if not all, home to practice in order to continue to nourish your happiness and your peace. The first one is mindful breathing. I'll write it on the board for you. You might or might not know there is a sutra called the Sutra on the Full Awareness of Breathing. And in it, the Buddha describes 16 separate exercises on the breath. I think during the course of this retreat, we only learned the first few ones. And if you are interested, you can find that book and read them. Our teacher wrote instruction and commentaries on each one that we can apply to practice to grow our awareness. We have been reminded that whenever we remember, we come back to our breath. And I think it's easier to do that here than when you go back to your own environment. But it's not impossible. You can still do it. And what you can do is, one trick that we find helpful is to select or designate something in your environment to remind you Here, you know that when we're in the dining hall, we have the clock, right? So the clock chimes, and that brings us back to our breathing. So even in this environment, we still need, you can call them positive triggers, to remind us to practice. But perhaps in your own environment, you can look around and see something that is familiar to you, that you see every day. It could be a landmark. It could be a tree, maybe a lamppost, maybe a stretch of the sidewalk that you walked often on, and designate that as your friendly reminder, as your bell of mindfulness. So that every time you encounter that, you remember to breathe. Or maybe there's a set of staircase in front of your studio, your apartment, or a path you walk from the subway to where you work, or even some subway signs. Maybe there's a tree or something nearby that you see often. Serve as a reminder. Here in the monastery, another reminder that we have are the calligraphies that our teacher wrote that we post everywhere. So every time we look and we see, we come back to the breath. For example, if you go into the hall, you look up, you see, this is it. Okay. Hopefully when you see that, you're like, okay, I'm coming back to my breathing. This is it. This is me. You breathe. Very simple, but can be very effective. So that's one thing that we can always bring with us, our breath. As long as we're alive, wherever we are, we can practice this. So if your life is so busy that you don't have time to set a schedule of practice, it is okay. You practice in the moment. Whenever you remember, wherever you are, come back often to your breath as much as you can. That helps you to maintain and to nourish your awareness. And the second one is mindful walking. We're young people. Hopefully we still have strong feet, strong legs, and they carry us anywhere we want to go. And so again, as long as we are alive and healthy, we can utilize the practice of walking to generate mindfulness. Wherever we walk, we apply mindfulness in our steps. And of course, you don't want to walk as slow as you do here, especially if you live in big cities like New York or LA, or even Philadelphia or DC, any big cities, or even in any general places outside of the monastery. People walk very fast. But if you master the practice of walking already, you don't have to walk slow to be mindful. You can still walk fast and be mindful. I think it's more challenging. Some brothers do jogging in the morning. There's a brother that jogs, I think, at 4:30 every morning. Cold or warm. I think even in the winter time, he got up and jogged. I trust that he applied mindful jogging into his routine. So you get the point. Mindfulness is not about slowness. Mindfulness is about awareness. But at the monastery, we create the environment that is easy for us to practice when we slow down. When we slow down, we have more time to focus and to be aware. You can also set a mindfulness bell on your phone. There's an app that you can select either every 15 minutes or every half hour or every hour to actually sound, maybe it's a sound of a bell or something to help remind you. So that's another way that can help us to remember to practice. And there's deep relaxation. It is a luxury to have that here. It's like nap time, if you remember back to when you're in kindergarten. I hope that the kindergarten kids now, they still get nap time. It makes such a big difference, and somehow we lose it as a society. I think especially in America, we're not allowed to take naps, to take a break. You don't have time to eat. But I believe in Europe and also in Asia, I think many countries still adapt that practice. I remember being in France and going into a small town near Plum Village around noontime. Most of the shops are closed, except for a few restaurants, but people go home and relax. And then they come back and work for the afternoon shift. You don't see that in America. But now that we know that it's effective, maybe we can be skillful and creative to applying that practice into our daily routine. I hope in your work or in your school you get maybe lunch break or maybe like 20 minutes break every 2 hours or so. Is that still the case when people work? Maybe. Somebody's shaking their heads. I remember back in the days when I was working an 8-hour shift. So after the first 2 hours, you get 15 minutes break, and then work 2 hours, and then get half an hour break for lunch, and then work 2 hours and get 15 minutes, and then the last 2 hours. And when I learned the practice, I tried to incorporate that into that routine. So during my breaks, instead of hanging out and talking to my colleagues, I either would go to the parking lot and do a walk. Not really slow, but just a relaxed walk, mindful walk. Or sometimes I would go into the conference room and just lie down and do a total relaxation for 15 minutes, just kind of body scan. It makes such a big difference. And I hope if you're able to have those period of times in your daily routine that you can incorporate this into your day, help sort of break it helps reduce your stress level when you come back and rest a little bit, and then you feel recuperated, and then you continue your afternoon. What else did we learn during this retreat? Mindful eating. Just as it says, eating mindfully. But there was a young friend, also wake up age. This is a few years back, maybe 10 years back. And so he came to the retreat here and he practiced alongside everyone, and he loved the practice. And he took them home and he practiced. He especially enjoyed mindful eating. This, he came back later on and told us of his experience. So he printed out the 5 contemplation you see on the tables in the dining hall, and then he would bring that with him. I think he said he was still in school, in college, I think, and he went to the cafeteria and he practiced that there. He just sat, put it out, and kind of read it silently, and then just sit there and do a 20 minutes eating in silence. Guess what happened? Nobody joined him. People stay away from him. They thought, "Whoa, what a strange thing to do." They feel like he's no longer their friend. They felt like he went to a cult and then came back and and it's like, so what happened? He practiced not wrong, but he's not in the right environment. He's not at the monastery, and he applied it verbatim, exactly what he learned here, and it didn't work. He felt isolated, and then he realized, oh, I have to be creative. I can't just bring everything I learned from the monastery and apply it right where I am. And but that doesn't mean that he can't practice mindful eating. You can practice without people knowing that you practice, right? You're the one that knows, and that's enough. And so that's why we often share with you that whatever you learn here, it works here because this space is for that practice. But to bring these practices home in your environment, you have to be skillful. You have to apply them skillfully and creatively in your own environment. For example, would you go to a dinner with your friends or family and then you're like, I'm going to practice 20-minute silence eating? They will probably say, yeah, you sit over there. I will sit here, or we will sit here. So the point is, we can practice, and we have to be, because it is an awareness practice, you have to be aware of our environment and then be there and try to apply in such a way that you enjoy your practice, but also not infringing on others' liberty of their own practice. And this takes practice. It takes time, but it's doable. But again, don't do it verbatim. Don't go everywhere and post the 5 contemplation signs. It will backfire. We have also, and my brother shared this the other day, that some of us might work you a bit hard, and some of you look tired. Mindful working, sometimes we call it mindful service. Please know that our intention is not to make you work and exploit your labor. We hope that through mindful working, you will learn to apply a sense of ease, a sense of awareness, a sense of joy while you serve, while you work. And whatever your work environment is, even school, doing homework is work. That you do that with a little bit of ease, a little bit of joy, a little bit of relaxation. That's the main point. So there are a couple of other things. During Dharma sharing, we also learn 2 practices. Loving speech. And deep listening. And we know that these 2 practices can take us very far in terms of reinforcing our relationship, enriching a relationship, but also if there are conflicts or difficulties, these two practices can help reconcile, can help reconnect us with our loved ones. We also learn noble silence, but I don't know how well that will be practiced, or how well it was practiced here. It's a hard practice, it's not easy. Not only we are required not to speak, but also not to speak in our heads, so that we can rest our mind. So I'll leave that to your own contemplation and see whether or not and how much you can apply in your daily life. Don't think that if you live alone, it's easy to practice, because you can be by yourself, but never alone, if you keep thinking and thinking. But that also doesn't mean that you are not allowed to think. But the point is to think only when you need to. Most of us have the tendency, or our mind has a tendency to think all the time, myself included. And so these practices help us to break that habit. So it's not about we cannot talk, but there are times that we can talk, but there are times we should practice silence. And then the sitting meditation. We can also call it mindful sitting. It's probably easier to call it mindful sitting than when we say sitting meditation, we usually think of, there's a cushion and a mat, and we sit in a meditation hall, we do formal sitting. That is part of it. But mindful sitting means that wherever you sit mindfully. You come back to your breath and you establish yourself in the present moment. We have a text that one of the many passages that we read every morning here, and it's one about sitting meditation or mindful sitting. And in it, they wrote, wherever we find ourselves sitting under a tree, at the beach, in a subway, or even in a demonstration, we should sit mindfully with joy and with ease. And so that broaden our space, and that doesn't limit ourselves with just sitting in the meditation hall. But anywhere we sit can be a place that we can touch joy and peace and perhaps liberation when we sit mindfully. And let us enjoy a sound of a bell. And part of mindful sitting is also what we have done here is called guided meditation. And I believe we've done it the first morning. There's a whole book on guided meditation with many different exercises. It's called Blooming of the Lotus. and you can check that to see if there are some exercises that are suitable for your practice, and we can use different ones at different times. Today being Father's Day, I like to invite all of us to practice guided meditation on our Father, if that's okay with everyone. Is that okay? Of course, as with any practice, we begin with ourselves first. And this is called a practice on the 5-year-old child. And 5 is an arbitrary number. You can choose any number or any time during your childhood years to focus. But just for this exercise, for today, let's focus on 5-year-olds. We begin first with ourselves as a 5-year-old. Some of us might remember, some of us might not, but in our generation we have photos. Hopefully you still have photos of when you were 5 or 4 or 6 that you can look at. And then we will move on to see our Father as a 5-year-old. Most of us might not even think about that. We always see that person as our Father. But do we know that he only becomes a father when he has a child? Before he had a child, it's not called father. And the same with our moms. Before they have us, they are not mothers. And so they became mother and we became child at the same time. Without us, there's no mother. Without us, there's no father. Think about that. So we are a gift to them, and maybe they're a gift to us. We play many roles in our lives, and being a parent is a big role, a very big role that they took on when they have us. And before that, they were also children, just as we were. Okay, let us enjoy sitting relaxingly. We can close our eyes or keep them half open. If you're wearing glasses and you choose to close your eyes, just take them off. Take the glass off, put them down. Relax your face. Have a light smile. And I will help guide you through this practice together. Breathing in, I am aware of my in-breath. Breathing out, I am aware of my out-breath. In-breath, out-breath. Breathing in, I see myself as a 5-year-old child. Breathing out, I smile to the 5-year-old child that was me. Myself, 5 years old, smiling. Seeing my 5-year-old, who was me, as fragile and vulnerable, I breathe in, smiling with love to the 5-year-old in me. I breathe out. 5-year-old fragile, smiling with love. Seeing my father as a 5-year-old boy, I breathe in, smiling to my father as a 5-year-old boy, I breathe out. Father, 5 years old, smiling. Seeing my 5-year-old father as fragile and vulnerable, I breathe in, smiling with love and understanding to my father as a 5-year-old boy. I breathe out. Father, fragile and vulnerable, smiling with love and understanding. Seeing my father suffering as a child, I breathe in. Embracing my father as a child, I breathe out. Seeing my father as a child, embracing. Seeing my father in me, I breathe in. Smiling to the Father in me, I breathe out. Father in me, smiling. Understanding the difficulties that my Father in me has, I breathe in. Determined to work for the release of both my Father and me, I breathe out. Difficulties of Father in me, releasing Father and me. Breathing in, I enjoy my in-breath. Breathing out, I enjoy my out-breath. Enjoying in-breath, enjoying out-breath. Thank you very much for your practice. This practice, when we work on ourselves, it helps us to learn to accept ourselves, to embrace our child within, and also to reconnect. As we know, that child is never outside of us. However old we are, that child is there within us. And we can only be truly connected to ourselves when we connect to all those parts of ourselves. And when we practice on our loved ones, our father, our mother, we also learn to accept them, learn to reconnect. And these exercises, they support the practice of loving speech and deep listening, especially when we in a situation where we want to reconcile. It's good, it's sort of like homework. It's good to do this work for us and to establish a balance in our mind concerning our perception of our parents. Sometimes if they've done something or said something that caused us suffering, that's usually all that we see them as. This block of suffering that's creating suffering for me. But when we're able to practice seeing them as a child and that they're also vulnerable and fragile, it helps adjust our perception even a little bit to see them in a broader light. And from that base, we have a chance of reconciling or reconnecting. If our relationship with our parents are on good terms, that's great. This practice will help to strengthen it. But if the relationship is not on such good terms, so even if we have conflicts, difficulties, then this practice will help. At least as the first few steps that can help us towards the path of reconciliation. Because we know that our parents are part of us. One of the exercises says, Father in me, a mother in me. That means that genetically they are in you. We carry 50% of our genes from our father and 50% from our mother. At least that's what science says, right? And many of us resemble our parents, of course, so it's so obvious that we can't really take them out of us anyway. So our teachers used to say, if you are angry at your parents, you are actually angry at yourself. There is some truth to that. And so that's why the practice is about reconciling the part that are our parents in us first. Learn to accept and heal, and then we can reach out to do that work with them. For those of us who don't know our fathers, and those of us who have adoptive fathers, or even if they passed on, this practice can still work for us, because we know that they are in us, they continue in us. Even our adoptive fathers, the love and the nurture that were offered us is also a part of us. And so this practice can work in those situations as well. And it doesn't actually stop there. You can apply this same practice to other relationships in your lives. Could be your partner, your brothers, sisters, your friends, your colleagues. We all know that they've all been children once. And so it helps the relationship when we're able to see them in that light. And you see, maybe you can see them a little clearer than just the person right in front of you. I trust that you will be able to bring some of these practices that are written here, or at least some elements of them home to practice to nourish yourself. And if you don't have a Sangha, maybe consider starting one, get a few friends together. Nowadays there's online Sanghas you can meet. It's easier to practice as a community than to practice alone. That's why we see the monks and the nuns, we hang out here together. We practice at the monastery. It's much easier for us. And again, practice in such a way that people might not know that you practice, so that you don't stand out too much. As long as you know you're practicing, that's already good enough. There's no need to show. Some of us make mistakes when we go home, and because we experience so much joy, so much transformation at the retreat, we think this is the best, and then we go around and sort of spread it. And we want to preach to people sometimes. So try not to do that. Just be natural. They will pick it up if they sense a change in you, a positive change in you, and they will be curious and they will ask. And then you have a chance to share. And always do it like as an invitation and encouragement, and not as, I know this is the way. If you don't do it, you're going to suffer. Something like that. Don't do that. It will backfire. And so the best thing is to practice for yourself, and you can radiate that energy outwards to the people around you. And not only you benefit, they also benefit. And I would encourage you to find time and to really try this practice again, this guided meditation on a 5-year-old child or the 10-year-old child. And perhaps also consider contemplating on the 5-year-olds in the present moment. There are 5-year-olds in Gaza, in Israel, Russia, Ukraine, Sudan. They're suffering right now. There are children even in our own country and all over the globe. They're suffering. Be in touch with their suffering. Visualize them as children that they are now, and they are vulnerable and they are suffering. So keep that in mind as we go about our daily lives, and so that we can live in such a way that we radiate peace, that our lives is a peaceful life. We live peacefully. We speak peacefully. We act peacefully. Every little bit helps. That energy will radiate into the world. And that's what we're trying to do here. All of the practices here has peace as a foundation. And when we have retreats like this, all of us come together, we generate a much bigger zone of peace that we can offer to the world. And we dedicate our practice, this whole retreat, these 5 days, of all the energy that we collected, we share that, we dedicate it to the greater cause for peace in the world. And I trust you can continue to do so in your own environment, wherever you will be. I heard that there are peace walks organized by Sanghas in our tradition next Sunday in the DC area, in New York area, in Brooklyn in particular, and also in LA. So look those up, and if you have time, join them. These are called peace walks. They are not demonstration or protests. We just walk for peace, and we try to generate peace. And that's what we're doing here. All of our mindful walking or walking meditation, we don't call them peace walks, but in essence, that's what they are. We just don't advertise them. But no, that next Sunday we also do peace walk here, to generate the energy of peace and to offer to those conflict zones. Is that good enough for today? To end, I would like to wish you a lot of luck, a lot of joy in your practice as you go back home. May all the children, their mothers, their fathers, their loved ones experience a little bit of peace and love today. May the relationship between you and your father improve and strengthen. May those of you who are young fathers or fathers-to-be, may you practice to be loving and understanding fathers for your children. Happy Father's Day to all.